I'm Gabriel Ritchie.
I'm Jeremiah McConan.
Welcome to the 34th episode of the Ritchie and Mecco Connection. I hope you guys all enjoyed your Christmas. Jay, how were the holidays treating you?
Christmas was good, man. Spend time with the family. Gifts are always fun. Hoops, of course.
Oops, yeah.
Eggnog. Yo, so you texted me that you had eggnog. This was my first Christmas actually really trying eggnog like that. Like I had it
Eggnog,
once before, but I had it
eggnog
on
or
Christmas. It just
alcoholic?
hits. You say you're eggnog alcoholic?
No, eggnog or alcoholic eggnog. Like, which was it?
Oh, I didn't even know there was an alcoholic
Oh,
eggnog.
really?
Just
Yeah.
regular, yeah.
Because I had for the first time this year, alcoholic eggnog, and I'm not a fan. So I'll just stick to regular eggnog. Which I
Yeah.
used to go crazy for eggnog. As I've gotten older, I've slowed down just because like
Yeah.
that shit really messes with my stomach and everything. Uh
Facts.
yeah, as we've talked about this past, me and Jay were talking about like dairy and lactose and all that, and are we lactose intolerant?
Dangerous.
We were talking about that this past week, and he brought it up to me. I said, "That's funny you say that." That I recently saw like a tweet talking about some study that they did where like lactose intolerant people it has skyrocketed how many people are lactose intolerant. um and it can be traced back to like the early 2000s. Like that's when it sort of starts trickling up, which is the same time they started doing the got milk ads and really pushing how healthy
Mhm.
milk is for you and how you should be drinking milk and all that stuff. So that's interesting. That's not what we're going to be talking about today. uh,
Right.
um a lot's gone down in the past few days. I feel like it's been much more eventful than it was last week. We didn't
Right.
have too much to talk about last week. This week, I mean, we can piggyback off last week a little bit. Jay, you right at the top, you got a little notification on your phone. There's some breaking news regarding COVID protocol in the NBA.
Yeah, so they now shorten the amount of days that players have to be in quarantine to 6 days if they're asymptomatic and produce two consecutive negative results. So good news for us as fans, good news for the league, good news for the players, because man, it was just so ridiculous having the top guys, top players like the Durants, the James Hardens, the Devin Bookers, Jason Tatum's now just going out for 2-3 weeks because there's some COVID rule where they're probably fine, but and I did my whole thing on it last week, so I won't get into it. But yeah, breaking news with that, so that's good.
And is that
And
vaccinated or not? It doesn't matter if you're vaccinated or not for the rule.
did it? It didn't
It
mention,
didn't mention that, so it probably
so
doesn't
that's a good
matter.
question.
We'll figure that out later. We'll check that.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, other than that, that's good news.
very good
Or at
news.
least for our viewing experience, it's good news. I don't know when it comes to spread, but me personally, I don't think it will make that big of a difference on
Yeah, I don't
who's
think so.
truly getting put in hospital beds, which is all that really matters with this.
Right.
Um, yeah, on the topic of the NBA, do you want to talk about the Christmas games? Those were the last games we saw. It was a long
Yeah.
slate. They weren't what we wanted them to be. However, all in all, pretty good games across the board. The
Fox.
first
Yeah.
game
So I
left a
missed the
sour
first
taste.
game,
You
so you
missed
got to fill
nothing.
me in
You
on it
missed
and the
nothing.
listeners.
The so yeah, Knicks and
Was Atlanta?
Hawks, and the Hawks were missing like everybody, and it was
Yeah.
really hard to watch. I didn't watch too much of it. I ended up watching the Christmas episode of AEW that I missed a few nights prior.
Yeah.
And then the Celtics came on, Celtics Bucks, which was a good game. And
This game was a good one.
so we're going to talk about this.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't, and I imagine there are a few who don't watch basketball every night, who don't watch the Celtics every night, but basketball live sports are on Christmas Day. Some of you might watch more NBA on Christmas Day than you normally would. This was the perfect Celtics experience that was completely them. You had Jaylen Brown playing great at first, then he chips his tooth. It's always something different with him. I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not coming at him as a person. I'm not saying it's his fault. I just think the guy's kind of snake bit, similar to Hayward at this point. He eventually does come back. However, you see Brown doing great. He has to leave, come back. That kind of fucks with the momentum. You saw Tatum kind of going 1-on-5, doing some ISO ball, throwing his hands up in the air when he didn't get a call. But also, you saw the good parts of Tatum with the step backs. the jumpers that only really he can pull off in the league, or him and a few others. And you saw them build a great lead, lose it, build another great lead, and then eventually lose that for good at the end of the game and just get overpowered by Giannis and the Bucks. So, Jay, what were your takeaways from that game?
Yeah, I
And
think
yeah,
you
do you see
you
the
nailed
Celtics
that one.
changing going forward?
Not with the current roster, no. You definitely nailed what we saw on Christmas. Just kind of big, just a summary of the whole Celtics season. Just big lead, they blow it. It
Yeah,
turns into a hero ball at the end.
right.
Um, no one knows their role. I mean, there was one possession, man, when Tatum decided he was gonna, like you said, go 1-on-5. He pump faked, got the dude up. I forgot who was guarding him, probably fucking Wesley Matthews or some random dude. He got the dude up, dribbled, had Romeo wide open. Like, I'm like, yo, Romeo, I might have texted you too. I was like, yo, Romeo is naked. Doesn't even look at his direction and settles for like a 22-foot, two-foot shot, not even a three-pointer. For a two-pointer, he went for brick. It was another possession, Jaylen Brown. And it's weird. They have this thing where if Tatum does some ISO shit or whether he makes it or not, Jaylen feels the need to take his turn right after, and vice versa. Like if Jaylen does some
Yeah.
shit, then Tatum's like, okay, now it's my turn. Like I've noticed that weird tendency
Right.
between them. So Jaylen, the next position, does the same thing. He dribbles off his leg. I think it was a turnover. And I'm like, oh my God, like we've had enough of this, man. This is the same shit every time. And it's not
Yeah.
going to change until, and I said this before, there's an adult that can set the table for this team. They need their CP3, or we're just going to
Yeah.
keep seeing this.
Yeah, and that's my thing. CP3s don't grow on trees. Like, how many adults can really fix this in the league right now? And can these guys? It's I feel like people who disagree with this take are just saying, "Oh, it's a stupid Boston sports talk take." Like, can these two play together? But it's really a legitimate question.
Hell yeah.
And when you see Tatum's play style, it's like, can anybody grow next to somebody who plays that brand of basketball?
Mm-hmm.
Similar to a Westbrook and OKC. You see guys around him just are nothing, and then they leave, and their careers take a turn for the
Yeah.
better,
They
like a Victor
flourish.
Oladipo.
Yeah.
Um, I
Harden.
feel like and Harden, guys who the game plan needs to revolve around them having the ball in their hands, making decisions, whether that's taking a step back or driving into the lane for a foul or whatever. I think Tatum's is a much less extreme version of the two names we just mentioned, especially when it comes to usage rate and everything. But
Yeah.
the Tatum defenders, and we're gonna get into Tatum a little bit. We're gonna go a
Mm.
little more in depth this time. The Tatum defenders say, "Oh, look at the statistics, look at this, look at that, look at the defense, everything. What are they without him? He's the reason they're where they are now, and why they're not like the Magic or something."
Right.
Then you have other people who are saying what we kind of just mentioned, where guys can't really find their footing with playing with somebody like that. And I want to know your take, but Tatum's a very fascinating case to me. I
Mhm.
don't, I see both sides of the argument. I have always, I'm never too excited about him, but I'm never shitting on him either. Where I feel like that's a rare stance, because I mentioned to you before we went on, Tatum, you look at, he entered COVID protocol today. Hope the guy's okay. You look at the comments under that post saying he entered COVID protocol, and it's like it's completely split down the middle, one side or the other. It's,
Mhm.
oh yeah, good. That's good. Now we don't need to watch him go 5 for 26. Now we don't need to see him go 1-on-5. Now this and that. Whether you're Celtics fans or not are saying this. Um, but then you have other people. Oh, I'm gonna kill myself. I saw some guy go, I have no reason to live anymore. Um, like shit, blah blah blah. This is great young talent in the league, which is true. He's a great young
Yeah,
talent in the league,
he
but like
is
there are people who, they put him
top
much higher than
five,
others.
right?
They put him top five. They put him top two young players in the league. They put him top 10 in the NBA in general. Places where he is not. Anybody who has taken a team as far as he has, they can't be in that select few that we
Yeah,
place at the top of the list. Uh, and I think he's a long way off from that. I also think he'll get much better. However, it's just funny how he completely draws people to one side or the other so early in his career. Well, how do you feel about him, and why do you think that is? I
Yeah, I was
guess
gonna
that's a
say
loaded question.
no. I was because I was even thinking. I was wondering as he was finishing, like, why is it like why is it two extremes when it comes to takes when it comes with Tatum? I don't know, man. It could be him playing for the Celtics. You know, the expectations when you're playing for the Celtics, you know, have the most rings. So if you're a guy playing for the Celtics with the championship DNA, there's gonna be a lot of eyeballs that come with that and a lot of opinions. Could be that, but my thing on Tatum in general, I think he's a really good player. He's really young. He's only 23. Like NBA wise, that's pretty young. He has the tendencies to take the bad shots and to throw his arms up. But when it comes to scoring, I think honestly could be one of the best scorers in the league in a few years if he just stays at it. I don't see why he won't win a scoring title or two in the near future. Um, Defensively, he kind of declined a little bit from not last year, but the year before the shutdown. I think like defensively, he was so good that season. I was like, yo, Tatum low key all NBA. And then that slipped a little. That could be with age too, because you know, young guys aren't engaged. So yeah, it's tough because I think he's a really good player. Definitely not at the level. I mean, we hold Tatum. I would say he's top 20 for sure, but he's not, you know, we're not gassing him up like most of these people
Yeah, I
are.
mean, I
We're,
gotta
we're
look at
realistic
the.
with our Tatum
I
opinion.
gotta go through. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. We'll do that at the All Star break. We can rank.
Yeah, when we do our
We'll
all-star
rank
team, it'll probably
everybody in the
be
league currently.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I don't know. I don't know why there's not a lot of down the middle takes with Tatum, a lot of logical takes.
yeah,
It's really it's hard to understand, to be honest. But
yeah. And staying on the Celtics, would you
the
rather
Celtics,
them
the
just
Celtics.
suck, or would you rather them stay mediocre and just night after night, you never know what you're gonna get? Or you do.
Yeah,
I personally do know I'm gonna get.
it
If they're
depends.
playing a bad team after a loss the night before, they're gonna look good and win.
Mhm.
And if they're playing a good team, they're probably gonna lose. That's kind of what it's been, you know? They don't
Yeah,
play to the level of their competition. They just lose to good teams and beat bad teams. They lost to Milwaukee. They lost to Golden State. They lost to Phoenix. Uh, they beat Cleveland, which was a pretty good win. But it's like that's at
was.
any given night, any given Tuesday night, anybody in the league can beat anybody. So what am I going to do with that information? And it's like,
Yeah,
I
man.
don't know if it's bothering me that they're doing this, or the reactions to their wins bother me more. Where, and
Definitely
I don't
that.
want to
That's
sound like a
part of it.
salty, I don't want to sound like a salty, angry fucking Boston guy or whatever, where it's like,
Yeah.
why are you happy? Blah blah blah. It's just rinse, water, repeat. It's the same thing every time. It's the
Hmm.
same thing every time, where there's no reason I should feel good about any win if they can't put two or three of them together. They can't go on a 5-game winning streak, which any legitimate playoff team will do that in a season. They'll
That
go on a
seems
5-game winning
impossible.
streak. Seems impossible, right? Five's not
Yeah.
that bad.
And
Look
it's
at
not
Phoenix
it's not that
earlier this
much.
year. There's
Good
been
teams
teams
do
in
that.
NBA history that have gone on 30-game winning streaks and they can't put together five. So that's where my sort of skepticism comes with the Celtics.
Hmm.
Let me just throw this at you.
Yeah.
We thought the way Isaiah Thomas played on his
Oh
10-day
boy.
contract in Los Angeles. Would
Yeah.
you welcome him back onto the Celtics for a 10-day at least? And would letting him back in the Celtics organization, would that break the curse he has casted on the organization,
Ooh.
that every point guard we get turns to shit,
See,
whether
I
it's he
was
goes insane or his knee snap or whatever? Like, I do feel like we're kind of cursed
damn.
with Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, I was gonna say no, but until you mentioned the curse part of it, and now
Yeah,
you kind of got me there. Man, because it really was. The second we traded him, shit got ugly, bro.
right.
That's the second we traded him, like watching the Celtics was no longer just fun and jolly like it used to be when we would just have fucking Brandon Bass and Jonas Jerebko, Crowder. We just
I
had
mean,
that
yeah,
scrappy
after
team. It was right after
2018,
that. Yeah,
after
it was over.
2018,
The fun times were over after that.
that was it. Yeah.
So, man, when I bring IT back, I want to, from a basketball standpoint, especially now because they shortened the requirement that you have to
Yeah.
be in quarantine or whatever. I'll say no
Yeah.
because I mean, he's just taking minutes from probably Peyton Pritchard, Aaron Nesmith, guys I want on the floor more. Uh, yeah, it's crazy. As I say that, I'm looking at my phone now. Marcus Smart's now out, so maybe we do need Isaiah Thomas.
What about ISO
uh,
Joe?
yeah, we have. Is ISO Joe still with us? Is he still on the team?
That was so random, and I
That
know it will
was
hurt the credibility of this podcast, but I had no fucking idea that he was on the Celtics. Like, I didn't know they signed him that day.
I seen that they signed him and then he came in like late in the game. But
Yeah,
now I have no idea if
and
he's even
didn't
on the
miss a
team.
shot.
Yeah, right. Crazy. Yo, 19 years from his debut with this. It was like 19, almost 20
Yeah.
years from his
Yeah.
debut to his
It's
return.
weird how many guys like Joe Johnson, Chauncey Billups, guys who start with the Celtics early and then we never see them again.
I know. It is weird. But yeah, IT, man. Yeah, I'm all set on IT to be honest. I think the ship is still like as far as him being a legit contributor,
Right.
I think that ship has sailed a while.
Yeah, we talk about this all the time on this podcast. Chris Paul's an anomaly.
A lot. He whines a lot on the timeline. I just have to throw that in there. A lot of whining from
Yeah,
IT.
we've covered it. Yeah, we've covered that. And he's at that height, at that age, with the wear and tear. It's just,
bro.
Even if he was playing well, it's just not gonna last.
No.
His body isn't gonna hold up. It's just a different game. The NBA, it's so physical.
Yeah.
It's so much more physical than anybody could possibly imagine until
ahead.
you're down there on the court. Like you and I, during our time in the NBA, we saw.
Right.
No, but like that's my
in the trenches.
I'm just saying, like the NBA, it gets physical out there, and the smaller you are, the less hits you can take. I mean, look in a switch in sports, football. Kyler Murray is going to always be injury prone, not just because he's a mobile quarterback, but because he's so small.
Yeah,
and that's just a sad fact of life.
Sorry, IT. But shit.
You want to move on to the next game?
If I have any last thoughts on, I guess we can give a little credit to the Bucks, and we can.
Oh yeah, that was impressive.
Because Giannis
they're a lot of fun to watch. They were just a really good basketball team.
5-6 minutes, what he did, he just said, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna win this game." Yeah. That block he had on Time Lord.
Yeah, he's the king of blocking alley-oops.
Crazy, bro. And you know it's one of those blocks like
clean.
You know it's exactly. I was just about to say, you know that shit's clean. You don't even have to see the replay. You just know it's clean.
Bro, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe a block like that could be clean. And I look at the replay. He goes down like you would when you're about to foul somebody, and his hand stops right before he hits Time Lord. Like, I hit the ball, I've done my job.
Yeah. That's like athleticism mixed with hand-eye coordination.
He's just getting
super
better.
high IQ. Like he's a beast.
It's so funny that what?
No, I was gonna say the big three, Milwaukee's big three, 11-0. So
they're 11-0 when they're all playing.
When they're all playing,
wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive. I didn't know that. Yeah, they're gonna be right back where they were.
That tells you they've been out a lot, but when they're on,
right? Yeah, that's not a lot of games.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like you said, Milwaukee and Brooklyn.
That being said, they've played more games together than Brooklyn's big three.
I know. Yeah, very, very true.
It's speaking of Brooklyn's big three. It's just
do you want to do Suns Warriors or Brooklyn?
We'll do Suns Warriors, but I was gonna bring up Brooklyn's James Harden. Just the little beef he's had with Giannis. It's just completely over now. Giannis is in the MVP discussion. He's playing as well as he always has, and he's won 2 of them. It's him, and Durant, Harden, and it's Curry right now.
It's Curry,
and then Harden's just a sidekick. He's Durant's sidekick.
Literally, he's turning. What? Yeah, I know. Because I was gonna say I will say that Christmas game against the Lakers is the best Harden's looked this season.
Yeah,
but we've seen this before. I can't trust it yet. But what makes me feel more confident now is because that first step before was not there with Harden. That was the spooky part. The foul bullshit. Yeah, he just
which he was still pulling the other night with the Taylor Horton Tucker thing.
He was. It was funny because there was another possession. Malik Monk fouled him, I think. I think first Harden fouled Malik Monk and he got the and one when it was really offensive foul. Then the next a few possessions later, Malik Monk fouls Harden, and I think Malik Monk gets called for the foul. Oh no, he doesn't get the call. And I'm like, oh, see, yeah, this is why Harden fans, you can't get that mad when Harden doesn't get calls because there's other possessions where he's just ramming into dudes and he'll get that call. So
Because Harden fans probably
have
think
some.
about the officials more than anybody else because they think the game revolves around that,
Remember when
revolves around
Houston?
drawing calls and everything. When
Remember
that's
when
not the
Maury
spirit of
and
the
them?
game, huh?
Exactly. No, remember when Maury and them and it was Harden's peak in Houston when they wrote like a report against the
Yeah,
referees
with
during
the
a
Golden
playoff
State
game?
series.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the Harden fan was
loser
just
mon-
a
loser
force
mentality.
behind that.
It's
Yeah.
just that's not it. Let's see.
So yeah, on Harden though, yeah, his first step looked good, which was encouraging because that's something that was really not there.
It's
But
because I was rooting for him. That's why he won.
tough.
He had a bunch of people rooting for him because he was up against the Lakers,
The
which
big
is
bad
rare.
Lakers. I know.
The big bad
Facts.
Lakers.
The ugly
Man.
Lakers, I should
It's so
say.
weird that LeBron's playing so well and they still suck.
Braun is like forcing it every
Yeah,
night, 39-9.
yeah. It's
He's
vintage LeBron.
kind of playing that. He's not going to be MVP because there's not enough games and he's not going to sustain it.
Yeah,
But this
right.
little stretch he's on is as good as anyone's had this season. That's in
He'll
the
be in the
MVP.
discussion. He'll be in the discussion like Isaiah Thomas in
Out of
2017
respect.
was in the discussion, you know?
Yeah.
He's not going to be a legitimate contender, but he'll be in there. Like Lillard, like my case with Lillard versus Kyrie. Kyrie was never even in the discussion, where Lillard has kind of been in the discussion where LeBron will be this year. Just to hammer that home again.
Yeah,
I'll
no,
never
that's
stop
true.
taking jabs at Kyrie. Suns Warriors. This
Mm,
was just high level basketball, and it
perfectly
was
said.
like going into Christmas Day. I was like, oh, these everybody's hurt. Blah, blah. I was like, oh wait, Steph, Draymond, they're playing. The
Yep,
whole
Booker,
Suns roster is
CP3.
playing. Hey,
Yep.
this is gonna be a good fucking game.
Oh yeah.
This is the best matchup the league has to offer. We're getting
Yeah.
it. The Warriors were somewhat shorthanded. They didn't have Poole. They still
Mm,
have Gary Payton the second. Like these were both these teams were pretty at full health and they don't disappoint. All these games are close. Well, the second Warriors game kind of got out of hand. But besides
yeah.
that, all the games have been close. And yeah, what did you think? I mean, the Warriors are really a really good basketball team.
Yeah, bro, they were more man down than the Suns, way more man down than the
Yeah, right.
Suns. They just on the road too. Like, they just came into Phoenix, and it's crazy. Before the game started, the fans were booing the Warriors. I think that's like the first time the Warriors have been booed this
They
season.
said that on the broadcast. Was that the
Yeah,
Doris Burke game?
yeah, it might have been.
Can I
And
just say,
Mark Jones, yeah, do your Mark Jones thing,
yeah,
and Doris, I guess.
relax, okay? Because if you guys really pay attention to what these people are saying, Mark Jones tries to say something funny slash witty slash young and hip every fucking time down the
Yo,
court.
what did he say the other day? Oh my god, it was so
Every
cringe.
dunk, he's got to say he's trying to
Have
sound
to
like he's
find
on
that.
NBA Jam or something. It's just call the game. We know you. You've
Yo,
worked at ESPN. You're an adult. You're a professional. You can do that once a game. You know, you can
right.
have a catchphrase you say once a game. It's like he's just trying out random catchphrases constantly.
Ball out till we fall out.
Yeah, it's so corny. And then Doris is completely encouraging it, and they think I don't know. They
Doris and
think
her
they're
first
doing a
name.
color cast like we were a few weeks ago, you know? It's
Yeah.
like call the game, be professionals. You're not Mike Breen and Jeff Van Gundy. That the reason you're the B team. Where
Yeah.
Mark Jackson, and I mentioned this, Mark Jackson, who we have mixed feelings on.
Mhm.
However, great catchphrases, and he only
Hand down,
pulls them
man
out
down.
once in a while. Hand down, Mama, there goes that man.
Iconic.
Yeah, he knows when to pull it out. Otherwise, we're not using slang. We're just calling the NBA normally.
Yeah, he doesn't abuse it.
I don't want to sound like old man on the couch or anything. I don't need 1950s commentary. But
Yeah.
I'd like some
Unless it's from
balance.
Hubie Brown, who was probably born in the 1850s.
Right. Hubie,
I love
we
Hubie.
did a whole 180 on Hubie
For real,
because
yeah.
because we were like,
And it was unfair looking back, to be honest.
eh, I
You
don't
know
know,
why?
man. He just
No, I
says,
say that because I
go
think he
ahead,
was
go ahead.
actually getting so old at that time, and we didn't
We didn't
realize
know
it. And we
how
were
old he
like,
was.
"Oh, Hubie, what is he
We thought he
saying?"
was like 68 years old. The guy's
Yeah,
like
now
87.
he can say Chris Paul just shot the football into the net, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's cool." It's Hubie's 100.
Yeah.
He
Our
just never
problem
will
with
pick up.
our problem with QB is he'll just say what's happening or like
Yeah,
basic ass shit and pass it off as analysis sometimes, where he'll just be like, you see that Paul, he had the defender in front of him, but he wanted to go by him so he could get an easy layup. And there's nobody at the rim to stop him. And that's why he did that. And it's no shit. That's how
you see,
basketball is played.
you see the Curry kid. He lifted his arms up to shoot,
And Jeremiah
and
gets extreme with it.
you had
Yeah.
to extend it, and that's how you shoot, and that's how he made the three.
So this guy just got fouled. He's gonna shoot 2 free throws here. And he missed the shot, so he's getting
That
to if
that
he
means
made the
one free
shot,
throw and
yeah,
another one after.
yeah. So they had 68 points. He hit that free throw. Now they have 60. Just shit like that, not that
Yeah,
extreme. But the first thing I said was
yeah.
pretty.
Sometimes
The thing I said about Chris Paul just now, the scenario I just put, he would actually say something like that. But we came around because we realized he's 157 years old and still actually does dish out some good commentary sometimes.
yeah,
I don't know. It's a pleasant experience listening to him.
it is.
Where I'd rather that than Mark Jones testing his stand-up material or
Yeah,
auditioning for
seriously.
106 in Park or something. It's just not fun.
Yeah. But the game itself was great.
That was a
Yeah.
great game. Back and forth. Steph had his moments.
So you
Paul
told
had
me
his moments. What's up?
you told me you thought the Warriors are the tougher team. So
Okay,
what made you
yeah,
feel like that watching the game?
when everybody
Because
on
I
the
don't
Warriors is
disagree.
playing, I just feel like both teams brought it, and the Warriors just
Mhm.
have a little more edge. And I think a lot of that has to do with Draymond and the defensive identity of them. Where Phoenix, I'm not saying Phoenix is not a tough team. I'm not saying that. They have Chris Paul's identity. They have
Mhm.
Devin Booker. We both agree. You mentioned it back to Tatum. Tatum
Booker.
doesn't play with half the passion that a Devin Booker does, whether he's more talented or not. Devin Booker plays his ass off. Where,
Facts.
yeah, it's just I feel like the Warriors are more of a mature team. They've been around the block and they're not going to be phased by anything. Where the
Mhm.
Suns can be, even though they were in the finals last year, they can be phased by certain things. And also Chris Paul at the end of games, sometimes
Yeah.
let's not forget he disappears sometimes. And
Ah,
Steph Curry,
ah.
I do feel there is Steph Curry is just one of those guys that's going to make Chris Paul feel weird when he's on the court with him. And I think that gives the Warriors the edge. And the Warriors definitely have more of a fuck you element to them.
Facts. Yeah, that's an interesting point with the Chris Paul making CP3 weird. Because think about it. CP3 99 times when he's on the court, he's the best point guard on the court. And he probably feels like that too, but I think he even knows when it comes to Steph, it's just
Yeah,
a
this
different ball
guy,
game. Yeah,
yeah,
like
this guy's on
that's
another
one of those
level.
things. Right. You just have to tip your cap off to the other dude type shit. But yeah, man, no, I kind of feel the same. I guess we have to. I want to say, man, I really hope we get that Western Conference Final
I hope
series.
so too. It'd
I
be
pray to
so.
God.
I really hope nobody. I'm knocking on when nobody gets hurt and
I
nobody
know.
gets no COVID bullshit. And
Yeah.
somehow the Lakers. It just at this point in time, there's
Well, the
no
Lakers.
possible
Oh, we don't even. I'm not
scenario.
even worried about them
There's no
anymore.
possible scenario. The only reason I'm worried is because they're the Lakers. They're gonna get. I said this. I remember saying this at the end of the play-in game last year with the Warriors. No professional sports team in the history. And I guess my Boston bias is showing. I've never seen a professional sports team in any sport ever benefit from officiating across all eras more than the Los Angeles Lakers because they're a big market. They're Showtime. There's going to be stars at the game. You want them further and further in the playoffs. You want them playing more games. And also combine that with LeBron James, who I'm not even going to say he gets calls or whatnot. Say what you want about him. He finds a way to get far in the playoffs year after year, with the exception of last year. So we'll see. But it's like there's no trade to make. They're in shambles. They have no identity. I can't see it either. But the fact that everything I just mentioned makes me a little scared. And the fact that the Suns Warriors feels too good to be true.
Yeah. No, and if anyone thinks that, because I don't think it's your Celtics bias showing at all. If anyone thinks that it is, just ask a Sacramento Kings fan about Lakers and referees.
Yeah, and plenty of others.
Yeah. So yeah, with you on that, with you on the Lakers being in shambles. And that's why, like, for with injuries or no, I guess maybe if they have the craziest injury luck, they could sneak in. But if we just get two relative, like if most of the teams stay relatively healthy, it should be Phoenix and Golden State. Because the Lakers, the way they're currently constructed, there's no way. Unless Anthony Davis has this, I don't know, moment, this
Right.
spiritual awakening or something where he just becomes a higher being.
Yeah.
And he just starts blacking out.
Shaq mixed with Tim Duncan, mixed with Will, mixed with Hakeem.
Which is like kind of the best version of him is that, which is crazy. But he's obviously not that guy mentally, which is why it's never going to happen. And I don't know that you trade Westbrook again. That probably isn't going to happen.
Who's taking? That's my thing. There's no
one
scenario where they get better.
The only other guy to trade him, it happened. It already happened, and it was John Wall.
Yeah,
and
unless there's chicanery, there's no avenue where they can trade Westbrook for better pieces.
Chicanery and Clutch Sports.
Yeah, and the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah.
Paul Gasol and
that's nothing
everything
new.
that's happened in the past.
But I just don't see them fixing this team from a trade standpoint. And if that's not how they're going to do it, then it would have to be their current roster just somehow turning it around, which I also don't see. So it's tough. It's tough if you're a Lakers fan. But
so we agree that
yeah, man, we could move on from the Lakers.
If everything's goes as it should, Warriors and Suns are shoo-ins.
Definitely.
For the Western Conference Finals.
Definitely.
And I would pick the Warriors in that season. In that series. But I would pick the Warriors in that series.
Same. My finals prediction was Warriors Nets.
They don't even have Klay Thompson yet. They don't even have Klay Thompson. They didn't even have Jordan Poole, and they came into the Phoenix's house the other night.
It's crazy. They had Otto Porter turn into fucking
Otto Porter balled out. He would have been great for the Celtics.
I'm head. That's great. And still we have Jabari Parker, who, it's one good game every 3 months with him.
There's an alternate universe where Lonzo Ball, Otto Porter, we have a healthy Time Lord who's like gotten his legs, his feet out on under him and everything, where the Celtics are a much better team. But instead we're in this reality with Ennis Freedom. But yeah, we can move on. That's the NBA talk.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts? I really don't even. There's no reason to talk about.
I don't have.
I don't even remember what the 10:30 game was on Christmas.
What? Utah and Dallas, and no one was playing except maybe Mike Conley,
Donovan Mitchell. Yeah.
Mitchell, who's out now with back spasms. Just another injury bullshit added. But yeah, no thoughts on that. That's really it for NBA. Move on to football.
Let's talk some Patriots. What do you think? What'd you think?
Man. It's not looking good. This is 2 straight games now.
Against teams. And this is, what did I text you yesterday?
What did you text
me? I said,
me?
I want to see them win a game like this. Let me go through their past games.
I wanna, you can't.
If you wanna, then you can. If you can, then you wanna.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, let me see. What was the text?
Oh, I gotta pull up their schedule. I just feel like there hasn't been a game all year that the Patriots have won where they haven't where it hasn't been a gimme that they're gonna win. Where they haven't been down. Where they haven't been down. I don't think they've come back all year from any deficit, really.
Yeah, let's look at their schedule. Let's do that. Actually,
they lost games similar to the game yesterday, were the Cowboys game, the New Orleans game earlier on in the year,
the Tampa game,
game where they were down but they were coming back,
right?
The Indy game last week. All their wins are wins. Like, yeah, of course they beat the Jets. Of course they beat the Texans. Of course they beat the Jets again.
Right.
The Chargers are goofy.
They just lost to Houston.
Yeah. Of course, they beat Carolina. Of course, they beat
Mhm.
Cleveland. That's actually a pretty decent
Goofy.
win. They're
But
goofy. Wait,
Baker.
45-7 is legit. But none of these games,
uh,
Atlanta 25-0, Tennessee, who had nobody that
No
game,
one, literally.
Buffalo in a rainstorm. There hasn't been a legitimate win
Damn,
where
that's
they,
bad.
I haven't seen them win like, will they even have a chance? No, because they got Jacksonville, maybe Miami week 18 will
Which
be
they could
some
win
sort of
both.
test. I want to see them win a game that's a legitimate game because
We're
all the
gonna have to
games
wait
they
till the
have won
playoffs.
have been against either goofy teams or teams struggling, and it's been over in a heartbeat. I haven't seen Mac deliver under pressure yet.
Yeah, yeah. Mac
And
has
that's what I
had
wanted
some
to see.
rough throws.
They were down. They were down yesterday, and what I texted you was, I want to see Mac. Mac needs to win this. He can't manage this game. He's going to need to win this game himself,
He
and he
didn't.
couldn't. He's and no disrespect to Mac Jones. I like Mac Jones.
He's a
Might be
rookie.
offensive player of the rookie of the year. He's just not ready yet. And let's not say it's anything else besides that at this point in time.
100%.
Oh,
100% agree with that.
Do you anything wrong with what I just said? Where it's
No, not at
you
all.
go down this list.
I'm looking at it. I'm still looking at it, man. There's
That
not
was
an
Tampa
impressive
at their
win.
worst. That was Tampa at their worst, and they didn't beat Tampa in a rainstorm again,
Yeah,
or not a
exactly.
rainstorm, but it was
They
raining.
have to be in
I
some
won't call it
fucking apocalyptic weather circumstances for them to pull off a win. Yeah, and it's tough because the next two games, home for Jacksonville at Miami.
You're not going to learn anything.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna have to wait till the playoffs to see them go
Right.
against a good team, and
Yeah.
we don't have the luxury of saying, "Oh, maybe next week," because it's the playoffs. And man, I don't know. Looks like Buffalo might get the division out, huh?
We'll see.
That's
Buffalo's
sick. Atlanta
that's
and the
my thing too.
Jets.
Buffalo,
Buffalo got it.
I don't think the world of Buffalo. I don't think they're I don't think of them
Yeah.
like I think of the Chiefs.
Yeah, hell no.
I don't
Not
think of
even
them like I
close.
think of Green Bay.
Nope.
Buffalo's a good team that is weird sometimes. And the Patriots, if Belichick coaches best game plan, if
They're
the,
like the Pats.
if the defense didn't let Josh Allen run all over them, and if Mac
Bruh.
Jones made some big plays yesterday, which you need to be able to make to win big games, you have to be able to make big plays.
Mm-hmm.
They might have won, but they're going. I'm not gonna say they're going through the motions, but they're playing their game. And if you play a great game, you can beat them because they're not going to play a great game back, or they don't have the ability to.
It was so frustrating watching Josh Allen just run down the middle like he's fucking Adrian Peterson in 2012. And dudes are trying to tackle him by the shoelace. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, this dude is running down the middle. All bets are off. You can hit him. And they wasn't doing that. They was just letting Josh Allen run all over them.
Right.
I feel like Buffalo was doing the same shit, like these little dump offs to fucking Singletary, whoever other running backs they have. I'm like, bro, they're literally just dumping it. Like they're not doing anything. And then
they're nothing special.
JC Jackson
dropped the pick.
And Diggs was chewing him.
We're sort of burying the lead.
Diggs was chewing him. That's the third 2 out of 3 times. And I don't count that last game because, like you said, it was a fucking hurricane. So 2 out of 3 times he's gone against Diggs. Diggs has dominated.
I'm really worried what this team will look like against the Chiefs.
That's something. Oh, yeah, against the Chiefs? Whew. We see how they look right now.
We'll see.
The Chiefs look scary.
What are your thoughts on N'Keal Harry?
I'm done, man. He had another drop. Yo, did you send me that stat?
Yeah.
What was it again?
Let me pull it up. I can have it. I can have it for you in 10 seconds here. N'Keal Harry has been targeted. This is from Tucker Boynton on Twitter, who's just like, I think he's younger than us. He's like like Warren Sharp Jr. He's like some prodigy who went to Harvard.
Some guru.
Yeah, N'Keal Harry has been targeted 98 times in his career. 46 of those targets, 47%, have resulted in a pick, incompletion, or fumble.
That's like if you go his way, it's a disaster.
It's a disaster. Basically. It's a disaster waiting to happen.
And not only that, even in the last Buffalo game, the one on the Monday night one, of course he's going to run into the punt.
Yeah.
when everyone is obviously staying as far away as they can because it's fucking a hurricane outside, and
Yeah.
the kill's just running around in circles doing God knows what.
I think it's a mixture of bad luck and then just
Like
not
him,
built for it. And look at the receivers they took or that were taken after him.
AJ Brown,
Yeah, Metcalf.
Metcalf,
And
just
who else? Debo
dogs.
Samuel? Was Debo Samuel? Is
I
that the
think
same guy?
so.
Yeah. So that goes to, I mean, that's another question for GM Belichick. Who,
Yeah,
and I'm not going to pile on the Patriots. I think they're a good team. I think I said that last week.
yeah, they're good,
I think they're a
but
good team. They're not winning the Super Bowl, which
mm,
is a take that I have changed throughout the year. You know, we thought they might not even make the playoffs.
yeah.
They've proved us wrong there. And then we were like, is this team Super Bowl bound? In reality, go back and look at the schedule. It's like they haven't won a big game.
And the biggest reason for that, I think, is now we've kind of seen Mac Jones rookie ceiling, not
Yeah.
ceiling, but his
Right.
rookie ceiling. And then, like you said, he had a chance to go take that game by the horns. He wasn't able to. But obviously, we're not going to judge him crazy because he's a rookie. But that's why, and I can say this, I think for myself for sure. Like I've wavered from, oh, maybe they can make the Super Bowl to might be looking like a wild card exit.
Yeah. And yeah, I wanted them to win a game like that. I'll throw the Miami game out, the first loss of the season. The New Orleans game, it was like they didn't have the juice to mess with New Orleans. And then I remember John O. Smith just like
That was such a
fumbled
weird
and
game.
threw interceptions. The game
Jameis
basically
Winston was
chained
playing
them all.
basketball.
Yeah, that was a weird game. The Bucks game was sitting right there for them. They couldn't pull that out. But everybody was patting them on the back after that, even though I'll repeat it all year. That was the Bucks at their worst and the Patriots at their best, and they couldn't
Yeah,
beat the
you have
Bucks.
said that.
Uh the Dallas game was another game where I'm like, that was when we really started saying, like, oh yeah, if this team, if moral victories counted, then this team would be the 72 Dolphins, you know? Like every game is a
Facts.
fucking moral victory. It's like, no, they threw some picks at the end and they let Dallas drop 35 on their head in Gillette. That was a game like this past game where, like the Colts game, where it's like these are big games that the other team's getting up for. Can you get? Can you
Can you match that
beat?
at
Can you
least?
match them? Can you beat a game? Can you beat a team that is playing their best football? We haven't seen that yet because every team they've beaten has not been playing their best football. Even the fucking Texans who looked good yesterday, who come on late in the season. But
The
yeah,
Texans
that's
are like, yeah, they're getting hot. Um, I'm 100%
and
with
it's
you
a
on the
bad sign.
Pats.
Damian Harris had 3 touchdowns
I
and they still
know
lost.
he has 3 touchdowns. You think they win by like 30?
Yeah,
It's tough, man.
they kind of. Oh no, I feel like Buffalo was like, all right, let's see Mac beat us, and he couldn't.
Yeah,
At least not at this point in his career.
just
Do you
didn't
want?
like the fact that Buffalo, and we can wrap it up with this after. I just didn't like the fact that Buffalo looked like the tougher team. When I kind of thought that was New England's identity, like that was their
Yeah,
advantage
Stephon
over
Diggs after the
Buffalo.
game,
But it
where
looked like,
yeah,
yeah, it's tough. But yeah,
they're
you want
still
to move on
goofy.
to
I still don't believe in Buffalo.
I don't either. But like the same way I don't believe in the Pats, I don't believe in Buffalo, you know? So I could see those teams going out in the first round easy.
Yeah, we can move on to the Bucks, who had a blowout win against
Tampa.
Carolina yesterday. One of the least impressive blowout wins you'll see,
I
where it's like
hated
they
it.
just can't get it clicking. They were
I just
completely
hated it.
depleted. AB came back, who just completely changes things as soon as it comes on. I know they didn't look great yesterday, but he makes it much easier on Brady. That
Top
guy,
five?
and well, I was gonna get to that. Yeah, I mean, nobody, I don't know if I've ever seen anybody be able to get open like he has throughout his whole career. He's super hard to shut down, especially when you have Gronk out there too. They killed the Cam Newton 2-0 versus Brady stat is out the window now. They had to bench him.
Oh, I
That's an
forgot about
ugly
that stat.
that's an ugly end to Cam in Carolina, getting blown out by the Bucks and everybody else they play really. I still don't feel good about this Bucks team, but they're probably going to end with a 13-4 record, which is impressive. And they're going to
Yeah.
end with home field advantage. They had a better regular season this year than they did last year. And
True.
I still feel like they have a couple games here to really get things together. It's just not going to be like last year. It's not going to be, they're not red hot like they were last year.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel like a team of destiny. And like we always say, there's a reason nobody repeats going back to the
Right.
Patriots in 03, 04. But yeah, AB, is he a top 5 receiver of all time?
Man. I mean, as far as abilities, probably.
I mean, you have Moss. I mean, you have Jerry Rice and you have Moss. They're in a league of their
Facts.
own.
Yeah.
Now we have to have a discussion. Now, like,
Yeah.
when are you going to say, would you rather have this guy than AB? And I know it changes through the eras and
Megatron,
everything. Megatron, but I don't know. AB's
Michael Irvin.
AB's
Yeah.
had quite the career.
I think,
Could those guys get
man,
open like AB and then also have the ability to like go down the field, or were they just deep threats?
people forget that AB when he was in Pittsburgh, there was
Right.
probably a 4-year stretch that he ripped off. That was Jerry Rice type shit, where he was
Right.
just 1,000+ receiving yards, 12+ touchdowns, whatever, 100 receptions, like the whatever, like the 50, 40, 90 version for wide receivers. He was just getting that every year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's definitely, I mean, who knows if he's really top 5? Obviously, we'd have to sit and go through it. And
Yeah.
my football history's nowhere near the level where I'll even, be able to legitimately answer that.
Exactly.
But
When football, we're two guys shooting the shit.
yeah, as far as like
Basketball,
just thought,
I would respect our
basketball, yeah.
opinion much more
Yeah,
than
we'll
our
give you a
football
real top
opinion.
5. But I mean, as far as just like for sake of discussion and just ability in general, like what he could do on the field versus like the other whatever guys that's not Moss or Rice, you can't say it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways,
But
I
no,
mean, now might be
Godwin's
a good.
killer
Yeah.
for Tampa. Just big picture, Super Bowl.
And for those of you who are like, oh, are you going to talk about AB's fake vaccination card? We're going to get to that next week. I have like a little thing I'm going to do on all of. It's very broad what I'm going to be talking about, but AB will be a part of that. I mean, I mentioned it to Jay before the pod.
Oh, okay.
Our end of the year pod, we're not sure what we're doing yet, but we will let you know before it happens, and it should be fun. Just throwing that out there. Jay, now might be a good time for you to just air your grievances and just let it all out about your fantasy woes. My fantasy season was ended last week in a disgusting fashion where everybody on my team basically died.
Bro,
Like literally everybody was hurt.
it's just horrible.
It wasn't even like, oh, this guy didn't show up. Najee Harris didn't show up, but everybody fucking got hurt. I'm not making excuses. I know that's a risk you take owning a fantasy football team, but it was like everybody. And that's just the people who didn't get hurt up until then. But anyways, you are on the ropes tonight in fantasy. You apparently need Alvin Kamara to score 29 points for you to win.
Yes.
So just I'll
it
give
shouldn't
you the
have
floor.
come to
I'll
this.
give you the floor.
It shouldn't even have come to this, man. So for those who don't know, I'm facing Momo, who's probably the biggest fantasy bandit in our league. He had, oh my God, bro, this is just nasty. The second I open the app, I feel depression. But first of all, it all started bad on Thursday night when AJ Brown, who's been on my IR all year, for those who have AJ Brown on their fantasy team, they know the pain that he's caused us this season. But I had him on my IR for like 4 weeks. I don't know. There was one game he had like 3 different injuries in the same game, and he was just gone after that. So I had him in my IR Thursday night against the 49ers. He has a career night, 11 receptions, 145 and a touchdown. It's like 30+ fantasy points on my bench. Great. Then I pick up Justin Jackson just to pick him up. He has 34.2 points on my bench, 2 touchdowns, another career day. Austin St. Brown from Detroit, or Amon Ross. I don't even know this kid's name, bro. Amon Ross St. Brown on the fucking Lions. I just picked him up just for shits and giggles. He has a career day. Fucking 11 receptions, 90 yards, a touchdown, 26 points. So that is already but that's already almost 90 fantasy points just on my bench. And you guys wonder who I started? Started CeeDee Lamb, who And this is where it got ugly for me. It was the Sunday night game against Dallas. Dallas scores 56 points, and CeeDee Lamb just gets a measly 4 receptions for 66 yards out of it. I mean, that's just it doesn't get worse than that, bro. That Cooper Kupp, my Lord and Savior, he did as best as he could. Brady decided. That's why I told you I hated that Tampa game, even though they won. Brady only 14 points. So yeah, man, Momo did it again.
Mind you, no disrespect to Momo, but he's a fucking force of a 5 seed or something. This is the one fantasy year where there's 6 teams in the playoffs. Normally it would just be 4 and he wouldn't even made it. And normally, if we're not like divisions aside, I'm in a different division than Jay. I had the second best record in the league. I shouldn't even. My team would have balled out this week. I deleted the app by now. I don't know for certain, but I saw the guys I had and they were going off yesterday.
Damian,
I mean, I have AB and fucking what's his name on the Falcons, Kyle Pitts. Like it would have been a much better day for me yesterday. Anyways, just we hate fantasy. And we'll be back next year.
Yep, that's it.
As co-host of the pod, I am completely behind Jay tonight, and I hope Kamara has 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, we'll see, man.
We'll see. Yeah.
I know it's going to be stressful because I was telling
Just
you
don't
this
watch
before
the
we
game.
even started.
Just
I
don't watch the
probably
game.
shouldn't, honestly, for my own health. Like I really shouldn't, because if he has 27.9, I'm going to off myself. If he has 5 points and I'm just watching that for 3 hours, I'm probably still going to off myself. So, you know, fantasy's awesome.
Yeah. Moving on though, we don't have to spend any more time on that.
Please.
Rest of the NFL, you know, the Cardinals. I just want to say they lost that Green Bay game on the last second, and I think I said this on the pod. I'm not sure. They were like 8-0 at the time. I said, all right, after this loss, they're gonna end like 10-7, and that might actually happen.
Crazy.
They're losing to the Lions. Who'd they lose to yesterday?
Was it Indy?
They lost to Indy on Christmas.
Yeah.
They're losing to teams they would have beat the first 7 weeks of the season.
Right. No Hopkins. He's missing the usual.
It's what we predicted.
Exit.
This team looks really good, and Hopkins gets hurt, and Murray's hurt, and they lose their momentum and everything. And I don't care how good your defense is, you're gonna have to put up points. It's not a happy time to be a Cardinals fan. What could have been? It feels like that Patriots, Brady's final season here, where they started off so hot, and then all of a sudden things came crashing down. And then the Cowboys looked amazing on Sunday night, much to our chagrin. And I don't have too many thoughts left. It's going to be an interesting finish. There's a lot of teams on the bubble. There's a lot of.
I was going to say.
I feel like this year
there
really hasn't felt like there's been many great NFL games this year, or many games of consequence. Where in the NBA we've already seen Warriors Suns 3 times, high level basketball games, and many other games of that nature. Where in the NFL, I feel like we haven't gotten much of that this year. I feel like it might all pay off week 18.
I hope
There's
so.
going to be a bunch of teams vying for playoff spots. It's going to be interesting. Hopefully a bunch of close games. I just feel like we haven't gotten much of that this year.
Yeah, because it's funny because it's a weird year. And I was thinking this too before I watched the game last night. And then last night, he brought it up. He was like, I have people telling me it's been a weird year. He goes like, I had people saying like, oh man, Al, this is really a weird year compared to others. And I was like, oh no, it was weird last year too. And the year before that. So it's like, man, these NFL regular seasons, they feel like they're just getting wackier. I don't know if it's just
they should just stick to.
I don't know what it is, but
they should have not have added another game. That's for sure.
Yeah, that extra game really feels like 5 games, bro. It's crazy. I feel like that one extra game is the reason the Chiefs season has turned around completely. Because there was just that much more games to, fix the ship and shit. But I don't know. NFL thoughts other than what we discussed. The Chiefs look great, I guess. Joe Burrow had a day. He had 524 in the air.
Wow.
Yo, so I just thought of this right now. Herbert, Mac Jones, Burrow,
on.
Lamar. I'm not
This
gonna put
isn't fair to
Mahomes in that.
Jones.
I'm not gonna
This
put
isn't
Mahomes
fair
in
to
that.
Jones.
I know he's a
I'd
rookie,
take
but we know I
Jones over
gotta
a guy
throw.
like Baker Mayfield, just for the record.
Oh yeah,
And a
for
lot of
sure.
other guys. You just named like four of the best. You just named like the four best young quarterbacks in the league. Who, like, if you put them in under Belichick, like I'd like their chances. I definitely think Herbert would be amazing in the Patriots offense.
Oh
Not as
man,
actually, who
imagine.
knows? Who knows?
Hmm.
Really? Because look at the weapons he has versus the weapons he'd have in New England. So that's that. What did you say? You want me to rank them?
Or who would you just take?
Who would I take out of the four of them?
Yeah. And I really say this because man,
I love
Burrow's
Joe
a lot
Cool. I
better.
love Joe
Ooh.
Cool. But
See, I like that answer.
he's like sometimes he's not cool. Sometimes he throws like a wild fucking interception.
That
I
Green
like
Bay
his
game.
personality the most. And I like the way he carries himself the most. And I love the way Mac Jones carries himself, but I love the way Burrow carries him. I think Burrow has a little more swagger to him.
Mm.
Lamar, I think, just has a ceiling when it comes to how far what you can win with him.
Yeah.
And I don't care where he is. I'm
You
taking
know what
Burrow
was so
in the long run.
crazy?
I'm taking
I
Burrow.
like I like the Burrow answer. You know what was so crazy with Lamar that I peeped, I think 2 weeks ago when they played the Green Bay. Whenever they played Green Bay and Huntley had a just amazing game. I think it was Aikman who brought it up. He was saying how Huntley was making reads and throws for the Baltimore offense that Lamar was not able to make.
Huntley's
And it was
good,
like,
yeah.
it's like, wow, man, Huntley's a backup. He's good, but he's a
And now
backup,
he's hurt,
up
right?
until this point. Now he's hurt. Now
Because
it's James
being
Johnson
a
from the
mobile
Brooklyn
quarterback's not
Nets.
the wave.
Yeah, it's a short shelf life. If you're just gonna throw your body out there, that's why I don't know, man. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I think it might get to the point where the league is just going to create all these rules to protect them, even when they are mobile. That it's just going to be like,
It
because
won't
they
even
want
matter.
offense.
It just won't matter. These guys are gonna.
Someone's going to get
There's a
hit
bunch of
though.
non physical football plays that these guys get hurt on.
Did you see the hit
What?
Heineke took yesterday?
No, I
Ooh,
didn't.
to the
ACL.
right. No. That's just defender just came straight into credit to Heineke. He made the throw knowing he was going to get hit.
Well,
But
he's
it
a
was a
badass.
straight crusher right to the chest, helmet to chest. It's like, oh man. And it was because he like started scrambling and shit. So it's tough, bro.
Yeah.
All right, shall we
Anything
hop
else?
into
I think that's it, man.
our good vibe, bad
Yeah,
vibes
we
and
can do
wrap it
good
up?
vibes. I got 3, right? We're doing 3.
Yeah, I think I just have 3 too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I just got 3. Yo, how about I ask this guy before? No, I'm looking at the name.
I think that every week.
Yo, we should probably keep
I don't
track
even know
of
why I
stuff.
asked one of these guys. Like, I feel like
Have
for
to
sure
see.
I asked this guy before. We'll see.
I
I'm
feel like
gonna
the
ask
same
him
about this one
anyways.
guy. Yeah, fuck it. So you want
Opinions
to
change
start?
on a week-to-week basis.
True.
All right, you want me to start?
Yeah, you can start.
All right, Andrew Wiggins, who I'm like almost 100% sure I've already asked, or you've asked.
Man, I don't see. It's like I don't remember and I might remember it. Andrew Wiggins, that's a good one though. I'll say good vibes because he's able. It looks like he's kind of changed his ways as
Yeah,
far as his approach. I don't think he's ever going to reach the expectations that we all thought he would that first
right.
season he got drafted, where is this guy an MVP candidate one day? But I think that's okay. Like he's gone through that he's only 26, by the way, which is people can
Yeah,
forget he's still pretty young. He's not even in his prime yet when you think about it. But I'll say good vibes because he's come to Golden State. He's able to play like high level basketball and accept his role. It looks like he's really locked in on the defensive end since joining Golden State, which you always like to see that. Guys, this is something I really want to see from Tatum is when you don't have it on offense all the time, like are you always locking in on defense? And it seems like
yeah.
Wiggins has figured that part
And
out.
he knows how to move without the ball. He's an excellent cutter.
Yeah. And that system will do it to you, but it also has to be the player willing to buy in. And he's shown that. So I'll say good vibes for Andrew Wiggins.
Okay.
All right. My first we have. Okay. It's gonna keep it basketball. I feel like this dude might have already been said too, but Devin Booker.
I don't think he has, and I'm gonna say good vibes. like we said, he plays with heart. He's an excellent heat check guy. He's fun to watch. I love his personality. Uh, at first I didn't like him. I feel like he looked like guys I don't like in like my real life day to day. Like guys who I've seen, like who I've hooped with personally. Like he had the appearance, not just like physically, but like demeanor of a guy, like of a douchebag, basically. But getting to know him better, and then that video came out of him like there's a video of him like he's sitting on the side of a court just mocking like people playing pickup. And it's like, bro, they're just fucking having a good time. Like, what do you
Yeah.
sorry, they're not you. We
Right.
know that. Anyways, that was then. This is now. I fell in love with him 2 years ago in the bubble, and now even more so in the playoffs. We love the drive he has, and I love his play style. And I think he's really good. Like he can get buckets, but also play within a system, play within a team, and let other guys grow around him, which is like the number one thing you want in a young basketball player who's at the forefront of your organization. So yeah, good vibes for Devin Booker, and I expect a lot more from him throughout his career.
Yeah, I definitely second all of that, man. And I like the toughness.
Right.
That's just awesome for a young guy. All right, so who do you have?
All right. Dan Campbell, the coach of the Detroit Lions.
Oh, Dan Campbell. Where did he coach before the Lions?
I think he had a cup of coffee as an interim coach for the Dolphins,
The Dolphins
like
before
midway,
Flowers, maybe.
possibly. Yeah, Flores. Yeah, possibly.
Flores, yeah. Dan Campbell. I mean, I have to say good vibes because he has a team that I don't know, like besides DeAndre Swift and Goff, I had no idea who else was on. Maybe Hawkinson. Like I had no idea who was on that team as far as offense and probably defense too. I don't know who's on their defense to be honest. Just goes to show why we're not football experts. But
Right.
good vibes because he has a bad team playing hard and going into these games thinking they can actually win, and they are actually winning some of these games.
Yeah.
And plus, whenever you have Goff as your quarterback and you're able to win some games, that's always impressive.
Yeah.
So good vibes for that for my boy Dan.
So he was coaching intern in 2010 for the Dolphins.
Okay,
Tight ends coach
that was a while
2011
ago.
to 2015 for Dolphins. Interim head coach in 2015. And
That
then
was
New Orleans
Miami
Saints
boy.
2016 to 2020, assisting head coach and tight ends coach. And of course, this year he starts with the Detroit Lions. I love the guy. I hope he gets to have like a long chance with this team, because what I love about him is, yeah, you're supposed to tank. You want the number one pick. But what is one player to a 52-man roster or whatever?
Right.
And I think it's much more beneficial to our organization to a point.
Mm-hmm.
If LeBron James is in the draft, you want the number one pick. You'd rather have the number one pick than be the 10 seed and miss the playoffs with like a 30-52 record. But in this case, you want to build camaraderie and you want to build a winning tradition. That is
And a
what's most
culture.
important, because I don't care what players you get. They've always sucked. They've always been drafting high. They got
Yeah.
Megatron. They got Matthew
Right.
Stafford. If you don't have a tradition, a winning tradition, and all that, you're just, your organization's going nowhere. And him as a coach thinking selfishly about himself, he's not going to be there for when it really does happen. Which I doubt they would even someday succeed if they just tank every year. So I love that they really have been in games and trying to win. Do I think
Yeah.
he's Bill Belichick? No, obviously not. I love the passion he shows. One of my favorite things I saw all year was their first win, where him and Goff are hugging, and he's cried in post games.
Yeah.
I just, yeah, I respect
Likeable
it. It's not
guy.
something to laugh at. And look at, and I said this to a guy at the gym yesterday. I don't know why Dan Campbell came up, but look at the Sixers in the process and where that's
Mm.
gotten them. And look at the talent they've gotten. And they brought in legitimate coaches to coach the team, like Doc Rivers. They have Daryl Morey, who's their GM now. Like they have Embiid. They had Simmons and all that. They've loser mentality, because what got them that? Losing, constant losing. That's how they got these guys. That's how they got this team together. There's no winning tradition whatsoever. Them at their peak lose to the Celtics in the second round of the playoffs a few years ago.
Mhm.
They're losing to Trae Young, choking last year. It's a losing tradition there, at least at this point in time, where I'd much rather have the groundwork of what I think Dan Campbell's trying to build in Detroit.
Yeah, well said, bro. Well said. All right, so I believe that leaves it to me. Wow, so on the second. Okay.
I asked you
Bill.
actually. I don't know why I just went on that monologue.
Oh
I
yeah,
asked
you
you.
did ask me. Yeah, go ahead. I was like, all right,
Oh wait, so
Dan.
yeah, it's your turn. It's your turn. I'm stupid. You ask me. I'm stupid.
Oh yeah. Wow, we're dumb. We're dumb. All right, my second guy, Bill Russell.
Bill Russell.
Yeah.
Why do you make these so easy? Bill
Sorry,
Russell,
man.
great vibes, like the best of vibes. One of my favorite athletes ever.
Mhm.
Uh, he means so much to the game of basketball and like obviously civil rights and everything. He doesn't get enough credit when it comes to civil rights. He was right there with Ali. Of course, did he go to jail to not go to war and all that? No, not that extreme, but he did a lot. He fought like the path he paid for like players today, what with contracts and everything, like the amount of money they get paid, and then just also like the integration of everything. Like there's stories of, oh, Russell, like the white players on the Celtics were like the staff at a restaurant would be like, yeah, you can come in, but not Russell and not so and so or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like just the camaraderie they built. Camaraderie, I've said that like 100 times in the past
Word
5
of the
minutes, but
day.
yeah, the word of the day. The trust they built with each other, and he really learned, like he talks about it, like he didn't really give a shit about the city of Boston because it was racist here. It was racist. The majority of the country was racist, but his teammates, white or black, had his back, and that's where he played. His organization, Red Auerbach, he played for the Boston Celtics, and overall, as a player, he's underrated. As a
Yeah.
human being, he's underrated. And where was I going with this? There was like something really important I wanted to say that I'll probably remember while I give you a goofy ass final good vibes, bad vibes, and I come up with something profound to say about Bill Russell. But oh yeah. Yeah, my favorite quote is Tommy Heinsohn. And I think I've said this on the podcast. Like Bill Russell won 11 championships for the city of Boston. They named the tunnel after Ted Williams. Great baseball player, never won a World Series or anything. And Bill Russell only recently gets a statue.
Yeah, that says it
So
all right there.
yeah, it's like he just so underappreciated, so underloved from his play style. Like young people who don't know shit about the game will think he wouldn't even play today. If Bill Russell was around today, you have to add
Plumbers.
in
He went
everything else.
against plumbers.
Yeah, look at him.
So dumb.
He's the reason Will Chamberlain doesn't have a bunch of championships. Russell cared about
Facts.
winning and sacrificed personal stats and his personal resume for the team. Despite that, still putting up crazy numbers, like some of the
Right.
numbers he put up back then. Just not dropping 100-point games. So yeah, I could go on and on about Bill Russell. Great vibes.
I love that. See, that's why I asked. I knew you would have a beautiful answer waiting for us. All right. So I think this is this
Yeah,
the
I have one
are we
more.
going
For you.
fictional time?
And I'm going fictional.
I love it. Let's
You
go.
ready for this?
Yes, sir.
The new season has been announced. It's coming out in March. Paperboy.
Oh, this is great. It's gonna be my favorite one, honestly. Paperboy, all about that Paperboy. Great, yo. You know how I feel about that show. Great vibes. For people who don't know, Paperboy, one of the main characters in Atlanta show created by Donald Glover, who's just a genius.
Yeah.
But Paperboy is so funny, man. Oh my god. Just great vibes. I love the way like he's obviously like he's with the shits and he'll like shoot someone, but then he'll just find himself in these goofy ass situations. Remember the haircut episode?
Or the Woods? Is that the same episode? No.
They might be two different ones.
You're
two
right.
different woods.
The Woods starts, he's in like a
the Woods is
salon
ridiculous
or
though.
The way it starts is so normal. That show's so weird. Like the Teddy Perkins episode, it just starts like it's a normal ass day. He's in a convenience store, and next thing you know, he's like about to get murdered by Michael Jackson.
He's like falling down 20 flights of stairs with Michael Jackson at the top laughing. Nah, man. Oh, that show's too good. Yeah, Paperboy, great vibes, man.
Yeah,
I'm interested to see what's gonna happen because
we know
remember
how
how it
last season,
ended.
second season ended with the
Clark
plane,
Clark County.
Clark County,
He's so fucking
the industry,
weird.
the industry plant.
You know, people said he's what Donald is, and who knows if this is true, but he was like the Chancellor rapper.
You base off Chance the Rapper. I think you've told me
Yeah,
that before. That would make sense.
I could see it.
That's
Yeah, it
funny.
would make
So he
sense.
must be based off of somebody that Donald knows about. That's
I'm
not
at
what he's perceived as.
facts. Yeah, Donald's so he's just awesome. But
Yo, that was fun. Yeah, bro. They put it in his suitcase, and then he still gets on the plane. It's like, how do you get on the plane?
yeah,
Like,
he like framed his manager. It was
he's that
crazy.
crazy that he
Oh,
framed
Clark
his own
County's
person.
spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that song he made, that little the milkshake song. Damn, I have to play it. But I remember fucking with him.
The
Like, this
Yoo-hoo or
actually
whatever.
yeah, you.
Yeah.
Why Sean love me like you?
Yeah.
Oh
Oh,
man.
and then the scene
Great
with
vibes though.
the scene where the
Yeah.
audio producer is like fucking up,
He's like,
and he's like, just
I'm gonna
don't
kill you.
do it
Or
again.
what'd he say? Yeah, he's like, just don't do it again, or you're gonna die.
Yeah.
And then
take a walk?
Paperboy,
Yeah.
Paperboy and Ern are just sitting there like, bro, like, are we about to witness a fucking murder right now?
So uncomfortable.
Take a walk.
So uncomfortable. Very underrated TV show. Very, very,
Underrated
very
as fuck.
underrated.
I can't wait. So yeah, great vibes for Paperboy, great vibes for that show. That
Excellent.
was a good one. All right, so this is my last one. All right, so this one is not going to be as easy since I've been giving you some easy ones. Tony Romo. And you could do player and broadcaster. You could throw both
Yeah, I'll
answers
just
into
do the
there.
human being.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna go good vibes. I think this happens to everybody. It's happening with Doris Burke. It's gonna happen in a year with Doris Burke. We're just ahead of the curve because we're like that. But telling you, Nostradamus here, telling you in a year, people are gonna be shitting on Doris Burke the way they're shitting on Tony Romo.
It's already started.
That's what human beings do. We put somebody in the limelight, we love them, and then they get shitted on, and then there's the comeback. It's happened to every fucking commentator there is on national television. Unless you're Joe Buck, who gets destroyed early on, and then eventually there's only up from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tony Romo, it happened to Collinsworth. Phil
Facts.
Simms, people love Phil Simms. All of a sudden he was off TV. People just get sick of you.
Yeah.
It happens as a wrestling fan. It happens on wrestling all the time with the commentators. People love whoever's new. And then eventually the longer they're in your life, you get sick of them. So I'm gonna say good vibes. I do think like on that sports reporters pod, I believe that's where this happened.
That was
they made some good points where it's like he's great. He's great when it comes to the game and everything, but he doesn't plan anything out. He doesn't have any stories he doesn't really have stories to tell or anything. If the game's bad, he's gonna suffer. If the game's good, it'll be exciting because he's already so up and bouncy and everything.
Yeah.
I think he'll learn possibly, or he won't do it anymore. We'll see. But I've enjoyed him for the most part. I think people just get sick of people way too easily. Yeah, I'm gonna say good vibes. That being said, I understand all the criticism, and I do criticize him myself. But I'm gonna lean good vibes.
Yeah, I think that's a fair answer. No, that sports reporters episode that you referenced, they really were like hitting some good points. That is one of those things that you kind of thought of it, and then once you hear it out loud in speech, it's like, oh yeah, that's literally what it was. But even the Tampa Kansas City Super Bowl, and they mentioned that too, where it was just a blowout and Romo was over so flat. And they were talking about, I think Simmons mentioned how it could be his lack of preparation, which I didn't think about, but it's like, oh, that could be true. And he's mentioned how, or maybe one of the other ones, maybe Brian Curtis mentioned how that's kind of how he was as the player too. It was, not always being at the top of his game when it came to preparation and approach and having the meltdowns in the fourth quarter and whatnot. So I don't know. It's just interesting. It's definitely interesting to see the turn in real time from everyone loving him to just everyone kind of doing a little U-turn on him. But like you said, it happens with everyone.
Yeah. But yeah, good vibes. And then that's that. That's the pod.
That's the show.
Anything to add?
Way over our expected.
Oh wait, how long is it? What time is it?
Oh, hour 14, probably 15.
Okay, not bad. Not bad.
Yeah.
That works for us. That works for you guys. Somebody in the car.
Nod your head.
Nod your head. Yeah. I listen to this pod. I don't know if you've ever heard the show Workaholics, but it's the guys from that show. It's a comedy.
Yeah.
And there'll be points where they're talking about some celebrity or whatever. They're talking about Taylor Swift. They'll be like, hey, can everybody in the car right now? Can you just turn your volume down? I'm talking. I just want to talk to Taylor Swift directly right now. All right. All right,
What's that
everybody
like?
turn the volume down.
Breaking the wall or some shit? What do they
Yeah,
call
some
it?
shit like that. Breaking the fourth
Yeah.
wall. But
Yeah.
that was fun. I really enjoyed this episode.
I did too.
I did.
It's a good one.
I think we knocked it out of the park.
And it's only gonna get more fun from here. Like you
Yeah.
said, New Year's. We don't know
New
what we're
Year's.
gonna do.
Tune
It's
in.
gonna be something.
Yeah, tune in. Maybe me and Jay will be in the same room for that. Maybe Jay has COVID.
Yeah,
Who
we'll
knows? He
see.
might have COVID. It sounds like.
It's looking spooky, man.
But maybe I'll be doing it solo. Nah.
I'm gonna have to go into health and protocols.
Jay's and Richie and Mecco health and protocols. Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, I can wrap it up.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. As always, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, join the Facebook group. Follow our respective Twitters, follow us on TikTok. And then share the episode with your friends, especially episode
Please.
like this. I was telling people I wasn't too like I won't cap. I sort of phoned in last week. I sort of phoned it in. I think we brought our A game this week. I really do. So if you're gonna share an episode, share this one. And
Please.
I hope you had a Merry Christmas, and we wish you a Happy New Year. And we might see you before the year ends. But yeah, kind of a goofy send off right now. The music's playing.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah.
Peace,
Merry
guys.
Christmas, guys. Happy holidays, and I'll see you next time.